I used to feel like I was busy all the time, but getting nowhere. Emails, meetings, hustle, noise. But when I looked at my results, I was stuck. One could argue that I was successful to the outside world, but inside, I was stuck, spinning in circles, and was just tired and hated what I was doing. Let me be real with you. You're not tired because you're doing too much. You're tired because you're doing all the wrong things and you kind of hate what you're doing at the moment. And in this video, I'm going to show you how I stopped wasting time and how you can do the same. Let's start with the biggest time waste of them all: passive consumption. You know the drill. You open TikTok just for 5 minutes. Next thing you know, it's been 45 minutes. You've seen 13 recipes, 4 podcasts, and 2 strangers cry about their breakups. Now, let's be real. Consuming something like that has no utility to your life. You're consuming 5 different things at the same time in a space of 45 minutes. It doesn't make sense. What on earth are you actually going to learn from consuming such content? Let me be real with you. There's better ways to spend 45 minutes, and doing those things are just going to continuously set you back even further in life. Yeah, sure, it's entertaining and it distracts you from what's going on in your real life, but wouldn't it be better to fix what's actually happening in your real life as opposed to trying to deflect away from it by consuming garbage? So here's what I realized. Consuming content without intention is like pouring water into a bucket with holes. It never fills you, it just distracts you. Look, I'm not anti-content, of course, because I create a lot of content that people consume, but if you're not using what you consume, you're not learning, you're escaping, and that is what we're trying to avoid, especially in 2025. So now you're probably thinking to yourself, well, Yoma, how do you change that mindset? Well, here's how I changed my mindset. I created some really good habits. The first one was, if I'm not learning from the content I'm watching, I'll be honest with you, I'm not going to watch it. The second point of contention, if I can't take notes from the content I'm consuming, I'll be honest with you, I won't watch it as well. I will totally ignore it. It's not worth my time. And the third habit I've developed is that if I can't actually action on the content I'm watching within the next 7 days, it's not worth my time. So I wouldn't be watching like content about relationship and dating, because I think it's a complete waste of time for you to get sucked into all the toxic nonsense that's happening online. In my point of view, dating should be between 2 people and you shouldn't really involve the entire world into it. Every single solution is different for every single couple. So that's why I think it's really important that you talk to your partner as opposed to looking for some internet guru to solve all your relationship problems. That's just my opinion. So for that particular reason, I wouldn't necessarily consume relationship content. This habit alone allows me to save so many hours in a week, and it actually allows me to only consume content that I can actually transfer away from my mobile phone or my computer into real life skills that help me make money, stay in shape, and improve my status in society. Now, here's a painful truth I learned the hard way. Being busy is not the same as being productive. I used to spend entire days making pitch decks, creating media decks, organizing my Google Drives, tweaking my logos, all in the name of building, but deep down, I was avoiding the real work, making sales calls, launching, getting rejected, building something messy but real. Busy made me feel like I was moving, which I certainly was, but the question was, am I moving forward? And you can probably relate to this if you're stuck in the same job that you've been in for the last 2 to 3 years. You're probably really busy doing repetitive tasks, but what you need to ask yourself is, are these tasks actually helping you to move forward? If they're not, in all honesty, you're just wasting your time, and you should probably think about how you can get to that next level, whether that's a job promotion or whether that's to start a business, but you always need to make sure that you're actually moving forward. If you're not moving forward, you're going to look back at it and you're going to be absolutely regretful that you didn't do more to actually propel yourself forward. So here's what changed. I started asking myself every morning, what's the one thing I can do today that moves me closer to my actual goal? If it doesn't build, sell, or scale, it gets pushed aside. That's just the way my mechanism operates now. So again, if it doesn't scale, build, or sell, it's not getting prioritized in my order of importance of tasks that needs to be achieved. Now, this next step coming comfortably across the 6-figure mark. That's delegation. I started delegating everything to the point where all I was doing, and all I'm doing right now, is sales, sales, and sales. And I'll sign a few documents here and there, but as in me doing doing the operational activities of my business is not something I do anymore. And getting people that are better at me to do that job, yeah, sure, it's going to cost a bit more money in the beginning, but looking at it from an overall situation, I'm bringing in way more money as a business than I was when I tried to do everything myself. So yeah, I don't mind actually paying a little bit of extra money. And this is what I think separates the people that are making 50 to 60,000 a year versus the people that are making 200,000, 300,000, 5 million, 10 million. Their ability to delegate really well. And the thing about delegation is a very scalable solution when you think about it. All I gotta do now is continuously grow the current system I got in place. Listen, remember this. Every $10 task you're doing right now is costing you a 10,000 opportunity elsewhere. That's the way to look at some of these minor tasks. So that's why it's really important for you to get into the habit of delegating. Now, here's how you delegate efficiently. And this goes for anyone who's running a business, or you could be an employee, it doesn't really matter. But one thing you really need to do is learn how to build systems really well. Once you've got systems in place, and this could be using AI tools, which I also use, or it could be hiring employees, which I've also got, but you want to be in a position to have like almost repeated tasks that you carry out for your business on a weekly basis. That's obviously moving you further away from the operational activities of your business. And this obviously applies into employees as well. Like, you know, you could be working for a company. You want to be in a position whereby you can try to get yourself closer and closer to the sales side of your job. Because at the sales end, whether this is in finance, whether this is in law, or this is in any sort of business that you're working for, that's where the money is, because that's how the business makes money. And lastly, to my entrepreneurs, if you're doing everything yourself, you're not a hustler. You're actually a bottleneck to your business when you really think about it. Now, let's talk about something that is a bit of a touchy subject that most people tend to avoid, and that's quitting. Look, being a quitter in something that isn't meant for you, or something that isn't going to yield you any value, isn't you being a quitter. That's just you planning your life in a smarter fashion. For many years, you know, back in the days in particular, you know, when I was going through university, I didn't really think of university as something I would ever need to propel my career, which is being an entrepreneur, being in business, running businesses, investing and all of that stuff. I didn't see university as something that was a part of that plan almost that would get me to where I needed to go. And I'll be honest with you, I wish I quit university all them years ago, because it's been a waste of time in all honesty. I don't use anything I learned from university. This is the reality of understanding when to quit, but I wasn't in a position at that time to understand how to quit, because everyone around me was just doing university. And you know, when I suggested that I wanted to quit and really focus on a business, which was a drop shipping store at the time, I think it was, everyone's like, you're mad, you better stick it out. You know, this is obviously going to be something that you will probably regret later on in your life. Yes, this is a very interesting example. I'm sure many of you can relate to this example, but the most important thing is understanding when to quit. That's the lesson in this story. Now, to combat whether I'm actually wasting more time and deciding what I need to excel in and what I need to quit in, I use the auditing framework, and it goes like this. I audit every single commitment I make. I track it on a quarterly and annually basis, and I revisit them constantly to see whether they're actually worthwhile for my business at this very moment in time. I always also ask whether every single task or commitment I put down is aligned with my long-term goals of what I want out of life. If it's obviously not aligned, then I'll just bin it straight away. One thing I've learned in life as well, especially as I've gotten older, is freedom doesn't come from doing more. It actually comes from the ability to letting go of things that actually don't serve you any value at all. Last one, and this one really took me a long time to learn, and that is that motivation is trash and systems and discipline is king. Because the thing about motivation is that it's really dependent on how you feel, right, when you really think about it. If I feel like going to the gym today, then I'll go to the gym. But if I don't feel like going to the gym today, I'm not going to go to the gym. But whereas I have a system in place with discipline structure that says that I need to go to the gym 5 days a week, regardless of how I feel on certain days, I know that I need to hit that 5-day mark in order to make sure that I fulfill my systems and disciplines. And that's why I think systems and disciplines are kings and motivation is absolutely trash. And the same concept applies into my business as well. You know, there's days where I feel like, oh, I'm knackered, I need to not do any work, or I can't be bothered, I'm not feeling up for it, you know. But I have a weekly to-do list and a weekly task list that I really manage really well. And I know that these are the tasks I need to complete on a weekly basis. I'm showing some of the tasks with you right now so that you can see for yourself. And here's how I structure my life now. I have a calendar for everything I do in life. Doesn't matter whether something comes up last minute or whether someone is not happy with me that I can't meet with them for something else unscheduled. I don't really care. This is how I remain disciplined. This is how I keep my systems intact. And this is how I'm able to execute and achieve all the goals I need to achieve on a weekly basis. And also, I don't trust memory. I use Notion and reminders for everything I do in life. And this is how I'm able to achieve and do so much in a day. Remember, discipline doesn't start with grit. It actually starts with design. Design your environment to support the person you want to become. If you're feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or always behind, it's not because you're lazy, it's because you're distracted. The turning point in my life didn't come from working hard. It actually came from seeing things more clearly. What to stop doing, what to start delegating, what to quit, and what truly mattered to me. So I'll leave you with this. Here's your challenge today. Audit your time, track 1 week, spot the leaks, and commit to one shift, just one. Because when you stop wasting time, you actually create a life that moves. Time is never the problem, clarity always is. Now it's time for me to round up this video. I do hope you found this video helpful and useful. If you did, you know exactly what you need to do. Hit that like button, smash the subscribe button, and more importantly, tap the notification bell so that you get notified when I drop my next video. I am out for now, and I'll see you on the next video where we are going to be talking about more inspiring, productive business, finance, and entrepreneurship stuff. But for now, peace out, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.